Boo.
I know.
Happy Halloween.
Here we are. What's happening? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very cold day out.
It's chilly, yes.
Yeah.
Diving into one of those classic mid-Michigan forecasts here, right? We've had a lot of below normal temperatures this month. This is the coldest one we've had so far, even out of all those days. And that's where we're headed.
All right. Well, I know we've been talking about this frightening forecast.
Yes.
Even since last week. Ha ha ha. You like that little play on words there? Yep. But yeah, all right, let's take a look outside. Oh, wait, I didn't even cue it up for you. My apologies.
That's okay.
That's on me.
Yeah, we've got.
So embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
It's okay. We can still kind of show some folks what's
true.
going on. We've got Mason out there, right? So we got that going on, Meridian Company Skycam Network View. And again, you can see clouds are kind of filtered out there, and they've kind of settled in across mid-Michigan. Another view we've got outside right now is US 127, and again, traffic moving along smoothly out there today. Now, we did have a few accidents earlier this morning on 127, which not weather-related at all. Interesting. Usually when we get into the first icings on the roads of the year, you tend to see that, but it's kind of interesting to see that take place. But you know what? It has been a chilly day. Temperatures are still at 39 out right now, and that's despite the wind being out of the south. But we just got, again, a very cold pattern that has settled in. Feels like conditions are even colder than that, too, when you factor in that wind. And so you can see that it does not look too much like an October day by mid-Michigan standards. We can see out towards the west some snow showers ongoing, and I have confirmed reports of some pretty steady accumulations out on the west side. You get to places like Holland as well as Grand Haven, Spring Lake. A few of those mid-Michigan locations have received at least a ½ inch to an inch of snow in a lot of those spots and stacking up quickly. We do not expect that accumulation to work inland. As these showers move towards us, they're running into warmer ground temps, and they're not as heavy as far as how they're falling, and so that's going to help us this evening. But we are going to see a few of these creep through. This system, again, is making its way through the Great Lakes on a pretty steady clip, and eventually we'll see the snowflakes start to fly as we get towards this evening, just in time for trick-or-treating. And so how appropriate that we get into the spookiness of that forecast. Now, we are at 41 in Mason and Howell, but everywhere else we're stuck in those 30s. And again, you factor in the wind, which is anywhere from 5 to 15 miles per hour, and it is feeling even colder out there. So here are the current wind chills. We've got a few places like Coldwater. They're stuck in the 20s as far as how it feels outside. Jackson's barely 30, and so pretty much everyone near and even below the freezing mark in many spots out there on this very chilly October 31st. You can see the cold temps have filtered right in. They're kind of holding pretty true as we go into the rest of our afternoon here. Cold air bubble kind of holds on, and we'll have the coldest air that we've seen since back in March filter in tonight, with temperatures plummeting to the lower 20s in many spots. So the hour-by-hour look here, and we'll show another closer in-depth trick-or-treat forecast in a moment, but the hour-by-hour here is going to take us down again through those 30s, and even by midnight, some mid-Michigan locations may have already dipped into the 20s by the time we get there. So it is going to be a very chilly evening across our state. Even with numbers in the mid-30s, you factor in the wind chill, it's going to feel like it's in the 20s moving forward into the rest of our evening here. And so very cold out there. Hour-by-hour forecast is going to show that. Again, got a few of these snow showers filtering in and out. And again, that works through as we head into the rest of our evening. Here's about 6 p.m. You can see we're still dotting the area with some of those snow showers, and eventually they'll start to wind down as we get into the overnight. In fact, temperatures cool down once the clouds get out of here, and that's what will happen by morning. And I expect numbers will be even colder than the models show here. I think with the clear skies, we likely are going to go down to the mid-20s, maybe even low 20s in some spots, which, again, we haven't seen lows that were that cold since way back in March. So it's been a little bit since we've gotten there. And so the month starts pretty chilly tomorrow for November 1st. We will get back up to around 40, I think, in the afternoon, and we can't completely rule out a stray drizzle or flurry, but I think for the most part the second half of the week is dry. So the trick-or-treat forecast for tonight, rounding us out, 30s are in the forecast, but the wind chills, they're in the 20s, and we are going to dodge a few snowflakes from time to time. But, you know, Taylor, this got me thinking, looking at the Halloween forecast, I wanted to just kind of take a look back at some of the other Halloweens that we've had. Because, you know, you're looking at these snow showers working through this evening, and it's like, well, you know, how common is it really, right, for us to see snow on Halloween? Depending on what you think, it might be more or less. So I wanted to take just a quick peek. Halloween weather, the warmest time we had was in 1950. 77. That was a pretty warm trick-or-treat that year, I would say. And then the coldest low was 15. That was back in the 1870s, and so that's pretty chilly. Now, the coldest high temp we had was back in 1917, so that was over 100 years ago. and it was just barely above the freezing mark. And so at least our highs have gotten above the freezing mark on every Halloween in recorded history for Lansing. But we have also had snow measured 17 times on Halloween. Now, over 160
Nice.
years, that's a little over 10.5%. And so about 1 in every 10 times, a little more than that, we get measurable snow on Halloween. And it's actually been even a little more frequent in late years. And so we wanted to peek at Halloween snowfall. Highest we ever had was actually 4 years ago. 2019, we had just under an inch of snow on Halloween. For the folks who remember that, I'm sure no one remembers these other two, at least anyone alive. 1875 and 74, we had just over a quarter inch there. But you don't have to go back too far. There's, of course, 14 more tied locations which had trace amounts of snowfall, and every other Halloween we've avoided snow. But 2014, 2017, on those years, we also had trace snowfall. And so you combine that with 2019, we're talking 3 of the past 9 years, not even including this year. 3 of the past 9 Halloweens, we have measured snowfall.
Yikes.
And so recently, this has been, well, about a third of the time we've had this happen. And so if we do manage to measure a little bit of snowfall this afternoon, evening, it'll be the 4th time in 10 years. And that's an easy 40% of the time over the last decade that we will have had measured snow on Halloween. And that's measured snow. You can even have a few flakes fly and it doesn't necessarily work in as a trace. It
Well,
has
hey,
to be
that's not
measured.
even stopping the kids from collecting candy. They will do what it
right.
takes.
Of course, and they've got to, right? But you know, this is just all to say, as uncommon, I guess you could say that it is. It's not unheard of that we get snow on Halloween, and this graphic kind of proves it here. And so 17 times, and we've had it happen 3 in the past 9 years. If today is looking like the forecast could be 4 by the time the night's done, although, you know, we're not going to, I don't think, deal with any snow showers most of this forecast moving forward. We will get back into the 50s by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we're going to have a few rain showers to dodge as well. Spartan football is taking place at Spartan Stadium. That'll be at noon against Nebraska on Saturday. Big clash for them as they really desperately try to hold on to their chance for bowl eligibility. We'll see how that's able to go, and then after that we fall back on Sunday. And so that's one more reminder that we'll change our clocks backwards 1 hour on Sunday. So that sunset on Saturday, it's going to be close to 6:30. On Sunday, it's going to be close to 5:30. And so we'll start to get darker earlier. I guess the good thing is that you gain an hour of sleep since the clock does go backwards. So enjoy that Saturday night into Sunday for the folks who are able to do so. Next week, the cold is going to return. You see by the end of the 10-day highs are back less than 40 degrees, and that looks like something that will carry us into mid-November. We'll never know, though, whether or not we bring back a little bit of warmth later in the month. The pattern still certainly could shift, as it often does a lot, but that's currently what it looks like, our outlook over the next 10. We're only going to get as warm as maybe the mid-50s Saturday if we can hold the showers off. Aside from that, just get ready. We're into November already. It's the 11th month of the year. The
I can't believe that.
The cold air is settling in a lot faster than the warm air is hanging around, and so that's what we're dealing with. Again, I'm expecting snow showers this evening, likely not going to stick, and if they do, it's going to be very brief, only in your very cold surface location. So we're talking little mulch beds that are cold. If you have back deck, patio, anything like that, you might see just a little thin line of some snowflakes managed to maybe amount to something very briefly. Those will all be blown, swept off by the wind, or melt themselves right into whatever surface that is. And so we're not expecting, to have snow that's going to cover everything around the area. But even if we do get some heavier bursts, anything that does stick is not going to last very long. And so that's kind of what we're looking at tonight. And again, this would be only the 18th time in about 160 years that we've had measured snow, if we're able to measure it tonight.
Yeah, well, that is chilly. Again, I know we've been talking, if you are going out trick-or-treating tonight, there is a bug flying around. Sorry, that was very distracting.
Fly in here.
I know,
Hanging
I was like,
around.
what is that?
Better than a
spooky guy.
Better than a bat.
Yeah, no, we don't want that right
It's-
now.
Although the bat would eat the fly, so then
So
we have a
maybe-
fly problem. I don't know.
You got the whole food chain.
Whatever. I don't know. Yep. It's Halloween. We're having fun.
That is true.
Yeah.
I know. And I want to know what you guys think about Justin's outfit here. We love it. We love
I
it.
could flip it inside out and
Oh,
hide
no way.
myself on the green screen too.
That's cool.
Try to do something like that. So
like that.
we'll
All
see.
right.
You'll have to tune into some of our shows this evening, see what kind of fun we get into, because we're going to be having a lot.
Studio 10 especially, they couldn't join the News 10 Plus desk because they're having a little too much fun
Yes.
getting ready for the show.
We're excited. You should
Yes.
tune in at 3 p.m. It's going to be a good show today.
Yeah. So, here's where you can find Studio 10 socials if you do want to stay connected with them at WILX Studio 10. But of course, you just heard Justin talking about all those chilly temperatures. Actually, Justin, before we show the First Alert weather app, I do want to show this.
Okay.
Oh, that snow.
Yeah, a lot coming down. Where is that, by the way?
Muskegon.
All right,
Crystal pulled it up.
That's
so there we go.
That's about right, and that's, we were talking about that when I showed satellite and radar over in West Michigan. Yeah, this is the reality. This is what they're dealing with today in spots, and so that's not too far away from us. Fortunately, I do not think this is what our scene looks like this evening once again, and so we might see some flakes fly. It's not going to look anything like that, which is good. But for the folks who are from or live out in West Michigan, no folks out there, they're certainly dealing with it today.
Well, let me tell you, so now we're going to lead into the First Alert weather app. I have a friend now living in Minnesota. It's her first time experiencing the winter over there. And she actually sent me this morning some videos and pictures of the snow that was a light dusting, but there was some that actually accumulated and stuck on the ground. And so she's like, I wonder, how much snow we're going to get, what we're going to be seeing with temperatures.
Sure.
And I was like, let me check the First Alert weather app.
There you go.
She's not even in the mid-Michigan area.
And it still helps, right? And so that's good to know. Whether you have the location set, it'll track wherever you're at so that all across mid-Michigan you can, again, continue to get the best updated First Alert forecast. This is not only from the daily video updates, hour by hours, the current, future, past radar, real-time traffic notifications show up as well. And as we get especially into the kind of more wintry type weather, those roads are going to be slower out there, or at least they should, as long as everyone's traveling accordingly. And so downloading the First Alert weather app is certainly going to be able to help you do that. All you have to do is search WILX Weather. Easy enough. It's got our logo. It's right there. App Store and Google Play. It's absolutely free. And again, a great thing to have in your pocket, palm of your hand. It helps you stay up to date on all the changing conditions around mid-Michigan. We know they can change in a hurry. And so it's good to have this in the palm of your hand so that you are prepared with your updated First Alert forecast.
All right. Thank you, Justin. We're going to prepare you all for what's to come during our 90 minutes of news. But yes, please download the First Alert weather app, especially if you are heading out trick-or-treating tonight. You want to beware of all the spooky temperatures.
Yeah, and whether it's you, again, standing close to the door and in your warm house and then going out to the porch to hand out candy. I mean, even then, you want to make sure you got an extra layer. It's going to be chilly outside tonight. And if you're one of those brave parents, grandparents, guardians, anyone who's out there with the kids, you're going to want to be nice and bundled up, too, because it's going to be a cold night. And it's, as you said, not going to bother the kids as much as it will everyone else when they're filling up on the bags. Yeah, right, exactly.
On a little sugar rush, too, I'm sure.
For sure.
All right, well, thank you, Justin. We're going to send it out to our reporters in the field to see what they have coming up.
Thanks, Taylor. The 5th Ward seat for Jackson City Council still remains vacant. With only 1 month left to fill the position, they're calling everyone wanting to serve their community. I'm Deanna Giles, and I'll have the story on News 10 at 5.
I'm Erin Bowling, and today I'm in downtown Lansing to speak with Detroit casino workers who are on strike. They're going on week 3 of their strike, so I'll have its impacts and what they're asking for on News 10 at 6. Tanaya, over to you.
Alrighty, thank you, Deanna and Aaron, for sharing what you have coming up during our 90 minutes of news. I had to find Mars's name. There's a lot of buttons over here. Mars Anderson, everyone.
Yes, hello, everybody. Thank you for having me at the desk.
Yes, of course. So you don't have a costume on quite yet, but people should prepare to see you later on because you're going to be in the 5, the 5:30, and the 6.
Yes, I'll be in a 90 minutes of news. I'm excited.
All right, well, explain what you have coming up during the 90 minutes of news, Mars.
So I'm going to step out to a trunk or treat event hosted by the Lansing Police and Lansing Fire Department. So we'll get to see kind of what that's looking like. I'm kind of worried now because you and Justin are talking about how cold the weather's going to be. So I'm going to have me a coat over that costume.
Yes.
But I'm hoping that I can get a lot of laughs and a lot of smiles from the kids while I'm out there. And yeah, we're just going to talk about the event, talk about some things like safety, of course, when we're out here on this cold Halloween night. And yeah, just enjoy this event. So, yeah.
All right, sounds good. Well, we are looking forward to it. Anything else you want to add?
What do I want to add? Of course, I'm always going to say that you should watch our full 90 minutes of news. So, News 10 at 5, 5:30, and 6, and just, see what we have in store. Of course, we have Studio 10 coming up, but don't forget about that 90 minutes.
All right. Thank you, Mars. We will see you soon. I do want to show this real quick. We are coming up to the end, and give me just a second when we will pull up what else we have coming up during our 90 minutes of news. But yes, this is our You're Not Alone mental health series. Go ahead and scan that QR code on the right side of your screen to pull up a list of resources around the mid-Michigan area talking about how to improve your mental health. No matter what you're going through, if your emotional well-being seems a little shaken up right now, you can go ahead, scan those resources. Again, there's a list, whether you're in Ingham County, Ionia, Eaton, Shiawassee, Lenawee, Livingston, Jackson. Go ahead, scan that QR code, again, for those resources. And you can always give a call to the Lifeline chat at 988. That number is 988. But you just heard from our reporters, Deanna and Aaron, who are out in the field. Mars, of course, is going to be live throughout our 90 minutes of news, getting you excited for the spooky spirits. But we also want to share what's coming up during First at 4 and our 90 minutes of news. So starting with First at 4 for Mid-Michigan Matters, as those beautiful, vibrant fall leaves are kind of getting brown, crumply, they're falling onto the ground. We are bringing in a director from the City of Lansing Public Service to talk about leaf pickup and the importance of kind of clearing those leaves off of your yard and especially off of the streets. And then coming up on News 10 at 5, as trick-or-treating gets started, we have some tips if you have some anxious pets, right? I'm sure you're preparing for all of the kiddos running up to your door, ringing the doorbell, looking for that candy. And if you have pets who are get a little anxious with the doorbell or a bunch of children hanging out around your porch. Well, there you go. We've got some tips for your pet, you and your pet, coming up on News 10 at 5. Coming up on News 10 at 5:30, the U.S. is seeing a rise in anti-Semitic and anti-Muslim threats across the country. So we take a look at what security measures are being taken. And then coming up on News 10 at 6, a report released late last night highlights the proper training and guidelines that had they have been put in place, may have prevented the Oxford High School shooting, which happened nearly 2 years ago. So our News 10's tonight, Jordan is breaking down the 572-page report and how schools in mid-Michigan can learn from it and prepare for the worst. So I'm going to give one last quick look outside before we wrap this up here, because a lot of those children getting ready to trick-or-treat later today. I know some beginning around 6 o'clock, so you've got about 4 hours to get ready for all of that. Parents, are you ready? Well, there you go. This is a live look at downtown Mason over Keene's store, so you're taking a look at that at the current moment. And then I do want to go back to Justin's 10-day forecast, so you get one more quick glance at the chilly temperatures. So there you go. And then I'll also give a look over MSU so we can get kind of an idea what the students over there are dealing with. Not too bad. People are outside. They look like they're a little bundled up. It looks like we're seeing jackets out there. So yeah, if you're heading out trick-or-treating tonight or even handing out candy, whatever you may be doing, even if you're taking the dog out for a walk, might want to bundle up, get those hand warmers, get the hats, get the gloves, a jacket for sure, maybe your boots. It will be snowing, so just make sure you're staying warm, having fun, and being safe. But happy Halloween, everyone.